Little wizard needs food badly.
If you've ever wanted to destroy a friendship over a virtual ham, then you know exactly what I'm about to tell you. This is the story of the most chaotic, friendship-testing, controller-throwing game that somehow became a masterpiece of couch co-op, and why I spent my entire childhood getting abandoned by my so-called friends in digital dungeons. This is the story of Gauntlet Dark Legacy, and why one little blue wizard taught us everything we needed to know about friendship, betrayal, and the sacred art of couch co-op. But first, let me paint you a picture of 2002. Before battle passes, before seasonal content, before we ever needed online matchmaking to find our fire teams, there was the basement, the sacred space where friendships were forged and occasionally destroyed over who grabbed the last digital stake. My brother and I, along with Kyle and Kevin from across the street, had our ritual down to a science. After school, weekends when we weren't outside, we would descend into our basement kingdom. Controller wires already forming that familiar bird's nest of chaos that somehow never got untangled. The setup was always the same. I was the youngest, so naturally I got stuck with whatever character nobody else wanted, which, let's be honest, was usually the blue wizard. My brother would grab some heavy-hitting warrior, Kyle might go for the nimble jester, and Kevin, being the oldest, would claim the dwarf like he owned the place. None of us knew it at the time, but we were about to embark on one of the greatest couch co-op adventures ever created. A game that would teach us about strategy, teamwork, and most importantly, why you should never trust your friends when there's food or pixelated gold on the screen. Gauntlet Dark Legacy wasn't just a game, it was an event. 4 players, 1 screen, absolute pandemonium. The premise was beautifully simple. An evil mage named Garm unleashed a demon named Scorn, and now it's up to you and your buddies to hack, slash, and blast your way through 60 stages of pure chaos. Every session started with a sacred ritual of character selection. We all had our mains, our preferred playstyles. The warrior was for players who lived for the front line. Get in there, swing that axe, be the wall between you, your team, and the horde. The wizard, well, that was for tactical players. Strategic artillery. Glass cannons who prefer to stay back and control the crowd with well-placed fireballs. In theory, our roles were perfect. The older kids would tank, I'd provide range support. It was a flawless plan that worked for about 12 seconds per level. The rest of the time was just pure, beautiful anarchy. See, Gauntlet levels aren't just big. They're sprawling mazes filled with monster generators that spew out endless waves of grunts, golems, and gargoyles. And here's the thing about playing with friends. They get distracted. Really distracted. Picture this. I'm hanging back, feeling powerful, picking off enemies from my safe distance. Then, Kyle spots some shiny treasure around a corner and disappears. Kevin charges after what looks like a boss enemy. My brother follows because, well, big brother instincts. And suddenly, my safe distance isn't so safe anymore. This is how it always went down. I'd be surrounded, enemies pouring out of generators faster than my little fireballs could handle them. Every hit chipping away at my health bar, and with no natural regeneration, every mistake was permanent. You had to find food to heal, and guess what? My so-called teammates had usually already grabbed it all. And then it would happen. That moment every Gauntlet player knows by heart.
Blue wizard needs food badly.
The panic would set in. I'd start frantically calling for backup. Guys, where are you? But they're 3 rooms away, fighting a dragon or something equally important. My charge shot takes forever to cast, my quick fireballs aren't doing enough damage, and then...
Blue wizard is about to die.
The narrator didn't just announce it to me, he announced it to the entire basement. My so-called friends would hear my impending doom and laugh, as I fumbled for a magic potion, trying to aim it while surrounded by enemies, usually wasting it on a single grunt, just as the horde finally overwhelmed me. The eternal struggle of the youngest player trying to keep up with the older, more experienced friends who had zero concept of, wait for me. But here's what made Gauntlet special. It wasn't just mindless button mashing. This game had serious layers. Every level was packed with secrets. Hidden switches that revealed new platforms, destructible walls hiding treasure rooms, shortcuts that could save you precious time. Some puzzles were literally impossible to solve alone. You needed one player to stand on a switch while the others ran through the door. And then there were the secret characters. If you could find and beat the challenge rooms, you'd unlock incredible fighters like the Jackal, Medusa, or Minotaur. These weren't just cosmetic changes. They had way better stats, completely changing how you played, thus adding to the replayability of the game. Between levels, we'd huddle around that item shop like we were planning a military operation. Who needed health? Who was saving gold for a super shot? Who accidentally spent all their money on magic potions because they panicked during the last boss fight? I remember Kevin being the strategist, always calculating who needed what. Kyle would inevitably blow all his money on the flashiest item available. My brother played it safe, always stocking up on health. And me, I was just happy if I had survived long enough to make purchases. But then there were those magical moments, usually during boss fights, when everything just clicked. I remember facing down this massive, screen-filling demon. Our first few attempts were disasters, just 4 players doing their own thing, dying separately. But then something beautiful happened. We started talking, actually communicating. Kevin would taunt the boss as our frontline warrior, drawing fire and soaking damage. Kyle, playing the nimble jester, would clear out the smaller spawning enemies. My brother would use his speed to run around helping out who needed it most. And me, the blue wizard, finally had his moment. My job was to stay alive long enough to fill my turbo meter, then unleashing a devastating meteor storm that would stun the boss and deal massive damage. When that final blow landed and the boss crumbled, the cheer that erupted in our basement was real. We hadn't just beaten a boss, we had overcome it together. That feeling of shared triumph, born from perfect execution of our roles, was the real reward. It was the moment chaos became cooperation. Those summer afternoons in the basement weren't just gaming sessions. They were adventures. We'd rotate being greedy sometimes, hoarding keys, grabbing treasure, making desperate dashes for food. But overall, we worked together pretty damn well. We developed strategies, learned each other's playstyles, and figured out who was best at what. The game itself could be repetitive. The graphics weren't exactly mind-blowing, even for 2002, but none of that mattered. The human element, the shared struggle, the inside jokes, the friendly rivalries elevated it into something legendary. Looking back, Gauntlet Dark Legacy taught us everything we needed to know about friendship. It showed us that sometimes the youngest, supposedly weakest member of the group could be the key to victory. It taught us that real teamwork isn't about individual glory. It's about playing your role so others can play theirs. And yes, it taught us that even your best friends will absolutely laugh at your digital demise. Gauntlet Dark Legacy represents something we really don't have anymore. That pure, irreplaceable joy of sharing a couch and a quest with your friends. 4 controllers, tangled wires, 1 shared screen, and endless adventures. We created stories together, 1 dungeon at a time, and while we'll always remember the epic boss fights and the thrill of discovering secret areas, the fondest memory will always be that panicked cry from the back of the party.
Blue Wizard is about to die.
The tale of a hero constantly on the brink of disaster, a legend in his own right, and proof that sometimes the most memorable gaming experiences come not from winning, but from barely surviving together. What was your Gauntlet story? Were you the key-hogging archer, the steadfast warrior, or did you know the exquisite pain of being a squishy wizard? Drop your favorite couch co-op memories in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your own basement adventures. And if this brought back some memories, hit that like button and subscribe for more nostalgic gaming stories. Because every gamer has that one game that defined their childhood, and this was definitely mine.